And moderator, I'm now going to hand it back to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. McQuiston, for your comments and for joining us today. Dr. Negron, please go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Negron, and I'm a veterinary medical officer and the lead of the EPI task force in CDC's 2022 monkeypox response. Next slide. As of yesterday, July 25th at 2 p.m., the total number of monkeypox cases reported to CDC was 3,487 cases. This includes 45 jurisdictions, including DC and Puerto Rico, and 3 cases in people residing outside of the U.S. The top reporting jurisdictions include New York, California, Illinois, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Next slide. This is the EPI curve for monkeypox cases reported to CDC as of July 25th, 2022 at 2 p.m. The y-axis is the number of monkeypox cases, and the x-axis is the date of report to CDC. Also included in this EPI curve is the 14-day moving average of cases reported to CDC. Next slide. Wearing a black hoodie with the For those with available age data, the median age is 35 years, with a minimum of 18 years of age and a maximum of 76. I would like to highlight here that the pediatric cases are not reflected yet in our accounts. For those with available sex assigned at birth information, 99% of them were male, and the majority reported male-to-male sexual contact. Overall, amongst those with race and ethnicity available, 38% of cases were among non-Hispanic white, 32% among Hispanic or Latino persons, 26% among non-Hispanic Black or African American, and 4% among Asians. At 11:06:51, Officer Cronin took cover behind a ticket kiosk and fired his department-issued weapon, striking the suspect multiple times. Officer Cronin held his position, and other Dallas Police Department officers arrived to take the suspect into custody. Officers started first aid and called Dallas Fire Rescue for assistance. Odefua was taken to a local hospital for treatment, where she underwent surgery for her injuries. While processing the scene, law enforcement partners found rounds in Odefua's weapon, indicating that she had shot at Officer Cronin. Odefua has been charged with aggravated assault against a public servant, and other federal charges are possible. The investigation determined Odefua's weapon had a capacity of 15 plus 1. She had 5 left in the magazine, and 3 casings were at the scene. The weapon was not registered to her. We have also learned the following about our suspect. On August 9th, 2016, she attempted to purchase a firearm at a pawn shop in Box Springs, and was denied due to an outstanding traffic warrant in New Mexico. That same month, she again attempted to purchase at the same pawn shop and was again denied for the warrant. On April 5th, 2019, she was arrested for bank robbery in Wiley. On October 4th, 2019, arrested in Mesquite for arson. On September 28th, 2020, the suspect was detained for an APOW, which stands for apprehension by peace officer without a warrant, at Love Field and transported for a mental health evaluation. To note, the suspect has been prohibited from possessing a firearm since August of 2018. We have identified the driver who dropped off the suspect. He has been identified as an Uber driver and is not involved in this incident. The suspect's actions prior to arriving at the airport are still under investigation, as is the motive for the shooting. The Dallas Police Special Investigations Unit is investigating the incident. The Dallas County District Attorney also responded and is conducting an independent investigation. I want to acknowledge the employees of Love Field, Southwest Tick and Counter Agents, TSA, and the dozens of innocent bystanders immediately impacted by this incident, and to the many more at our airport that were affected. From my vantage point, from our vantage point, you all acted admirably in the face of danger and chaos. Thank you. I want to thank Dallas Fire Rescue, Dallas FBI SAC Matt DeCerno, and Dallas ATF SAC Jeff Boshek, and our other federal partners for their assistance and our continued and necessary partnership.
I also want to commend all responding officers at left field. Now, before we show you the surveillance and body cam video from yesterday, I need to address Officer Cronin and his actions. As a police department, we do what we can to prepare as we can for all scenarios that are possible in calls, to prepare our officers, but also for the safety of the people we protect. Of course, each response is different, each call is different, but the response should always be the same: swift, smart, and engage the threat. Lives depend on that quick decision. I can't teach bravery or courage. We can do all the training in the world to prepare for these type of events, but what it comes down to in the end is sheer bravery and courage. I've said time and time again to our men and women and to our recruits that we need to be both guardian as well as warrior. What you're about to see depicts a great illustration of what it means to be both. In situations like the one we had at left field yesterday, our men and women must also be warriors. That is what Officer Cronin was. He didn't hesitate in engaging, managing to give commands to potential victims, attempting to guide them to safety, even after being involved in the most traumatic scenario of our beloved profession. I know his actions saved lives and prevented more injuries. All right, so with that, we'll open up to questions.
Chief, your officers are, if there's a situation with like yesterday, oftentimes they're trained to shoot, up here to take out the threat. It sounds like she was shot from lower. Was that to destabilize her, or that just happened to be where she was shot?
That just happens to be if you look at the officer's actions, if you look at what that officer had to do with regards to, quite frankly, shooting over some people, trying to get a line of sight, as you can see him kind of trying to find the perfect angle to get a shot at him as quickly as he did. The goal is to neutralize the threat. You know what, you have to shoot and stop the threat. You shoot where he shot. It just happens to be that's there, but obviously him moving, him looking for cover, that's just where the rounds went.
Chief, how many shots does she shot and how many shots the officer shot?
We believe she shot.
9 shots were fired.
N-
There were 5 left in, it was 15 and 1. There were 5 left in the cartridge, in the.
She had 5 rounds. She had 5 rounds left. I think I read that. Hold on. She fired 3 times in the air.
And then
The officer shot, I believe, 8 or 9 times and hit her multiple times.
Chief, did the officer know something she was suspicious? Because it seemed like in that third video he was kind of watching her before the shots went off.
Yeah, you know, obviously when we get more information from the officer, we'll get more specific information. But what I'll say that the fact that she went into the bathroom, came back out, had tied her hoodie a little bit tighter, and then she started walking around the kiosks, and that somehow drew the attention of the officer. And then obviously she made those statements, which obviously drew the officer's attention even more.
Chief, you mentioned that she hasn't been legally allowed to possess a handgun since August of 2018. Do you know how she obtained the handgun she used yesterday?
We're investigating where the origin of the firearm that she had was, but what we can tell you right now, we're working with FBI and ATF to ascertain that, but it wasn't hers. It was not registered to her. Obviously, she got it from somebody else, but we're trying to figure out precisely where the origin of that firearm came from.
Is that somebody else facing any culpability potentially?
Again, we're looking into where that weapon came from, but ultimately, again, she was prohibited and got a firearm from somebody.
Can you comment on her condition, Chief?
She was out of surgery and she's stable.
Can you spell Officer Cronin's first and last name for us?
We'll take care of that. We'll take care of that specific after.
I have a question for the FBI. If she was investigated or arrested for a bank robbery, was she investigated by the FBI? Was that ever a federal case?
So she was arrested for a bank robbery in Wiley by the Wiley Police Department. We did not learn of that bank robbery. We were never notified about the bank robbery, and then that charge was ultimately dismissed.
Do you know why you weren't notified of that?
No, I don't.
Chief, have you all searched her home?
I'm sorry?
Have you searched her home?
We're still investigating. We're not. I don't think we've figured out exactly all the ins and outs of where she's at. I don't believe we have as of yet.
Have you been able to discern a motive from her?
No, not yet. Again, at this time, we haven't yet. But when we start talking to people that know her and other things, we may be able to get a motive from at that point. But as of now, again, we're not that far yet.
Did the Uber driver mention anything about her mental state while placing her there or during the drive?
You know what? I believe he thought something was peculiar, but nothing specific. But again, Uber driver, dropping somebody off, I mean, it's.
Were all the officers there? Are they stationed at Love Field? Is that their regular beat?
Most of them, yes. We do have some overtime officers that work there, but most of them are stationed there.
And Officer Cronin?
Yes.
Where were those other officers located, the ones that came in to support? Looked like there's one out near the C parking garage and some.
Yeah, they're all throughout the terminal. They're all placed throughout. Specifically, we don't really know specifically where they were, but they all came from throughout the airport.
Were they aware about that he kind of pinpointed her out earlier? Was he in communication with the other officers?
You know what? We haven't gotten that far yet with regards to that. It looks like he's doing something with his radio, but we haven't gotten that far yet. It happened so incredibly quickly. Obviously, he had the wherewithal and frame of mind to be able to put things out after it happened, to get officers in. As you saw, he's trying to get people to safety and things of that nature. But it was a great. I mean, I can't say enough about the coordinated response. Very proud of the men and women.
Is it kind of a macro question? Is it like an outlier for someone with her mental health history and court record and so forth? Is it anyway surprising that someone like that would find their way to a weapon? Is that, I don't know if anybody know how common that is, but you mentioned that she shouldn't have been in possession of it, she
Well, I'll say this. I mean, you may be prohibited from possessing a weapon, but that doesn't stop people from possessing them. So it's not rare. It's not odd in our line of work. It happens all the time. It happens many times. So it's not odd that someone prohibited was in possession of a firearm. No, that's not odd.
Was the bullet hole in the kiosk from the suspect?
The one that you saw in the video, it's from the officer.
Any other questions?
How is he doing? Anything else from the officer?
Yeah, I've spoken to him briefly. He's doing okay. He's okay. Obviously, later on when he sees all the video and everything else, I think I'm sure it'll come back to him. But he's doing well.
Would you be willing to share what you said to him?
No. But I will tell you all this. I'm very proud of him. That may have been along the lines of what I said to him.
I can imagine any plans in the future for the officer, like to give him some special recognition, perhaps?
If it was appropriate, I would have given that officer a medal right here in front of you all today. And I'm sure that time will come.
Can you talk about the need to clear the terminal and the other spaces in the airport following what seemed like when the scene was secured?
Well, we have to work closely with left field. We have to work closely with TSA. When those things happen, obviously they're taken very seriously. We don't know if it's a single shooter. Oftentimes these type of incidents that could be terrorist acts or acting in concert with others. So it's incredibly important that everything's secure so that you can assure our community that it's safe to go back in.
Chief, other than knowing the origin of the gun, what else do you still, the FBI and DPD want to learn about yesterday?
Well, obviously motive is incredibly important, I think, for both of us. Incredibly important where she got the gun is incredibly important as well. Mostly I really just, we need to know the why. And then go back and really we got to follow that gun and see where it came from and see what the origin of that is.